Now, when everyone is aware of how the implementation might look like and who's involved, it's time to allocate the resources because you don't want a situation down the road when someone goes, hey, we don't have money for this, so all the work that you did, forget it. Or you don't want someone to say during a meeting, hey, you know what, I was quite busy and you know what, I don't have time for that. So, as early as it's possible, you need to allocate resources. So, the first thing is initial budget. What I mean here is the initial budget for the first stage of the implementation, and that is only the license cost and the support from the marketing automation company. So, in most cases, you'll get a free trial, or you might need some, pay for 1 month or something like that. So, the cost will not be huge, but it's great to be prepared for this meeting and actually know the figure. That will make it a lot easier and quicker. The next thing is the customer support, sales manager, and marketing manager. Time allocated. They need to say how much time they are going to personally allocate into this project. So how much time they'll spend, learning and discussing first automations and stuff. And the same applies to their employees. So how much time of each employee you will get, so that they can learn how the system works. Then you have compliance officer time allocated, so that will be the legal team. IT team allocated, and this is very crucial because, time management in IT teams is very strict. So you need to know perfectly how much time they're going to need, and this is why they're on this meeting. They have to understand the process, and they have to be aware of how much it might take them to implement the system. Then at the end you have deadline for finishing the analysis of compliance and data protection laws. So in order to move on with the implementation, you need to have a deadline for the legal team to say, all right, this is ready and here are the guidelines. So it's great to have a decision. It's the last slide of the presentation. So now you know what you're going to implement, who's going to implement, how are you going to implement, what's the plan. Now it's the time to set up the goals of the implementation in a very measurable way. So what I've proposed here are OKRs. It's a way of measuring the success of a different project that Google has created. An example of the proof of concept implementation. The proof of concept implementation is what I've described before with this timeline. So this first phase of the implementation. So the proof of concept implementation could have an OKR of increasing conversion by 1%, or reducing the time sales representatives spend on administrative work by 20%. So those goals are challenging but not impossible to achieve. If you get to like 80% of those, it's fine. But you have to have a clear point in mind, otherwise it will be really hard for you to focus on the right things. And the second thing is that without a clear goal of the implementation, of way of measuring the success of it, you never know if someone after the proof of concept implementation wouldn't come and say, you know what, I think this project was not so much of a success. I think we could do better without it. And you could say, hey, we've implemented the tool, everything works fine, and we're able to now increase the conversion and stuff. But, without a clear argument like we've increased conversion by X, which was our goal, it's a lot harder for you. So it's great to have a clear goal in mind as well at the beginning of the implementation of proof of concept, as well as later down the road. So for example, you can make another evaluation after a year or 2 years. Also, you have a marketing automation system chosen here. You've made that decision before. It's just to put it right here, just to confirm that, and the date of the next meeting. This is because, as I said before, it's great to have a clear date in mind, because then everyone knows how much time they have to perform all the tasks that they have to do. Now we'll quickly go one by one through the roadblocks that we've mentioned during the beginning of this part of the tutorial, and we're going to discuss how this roadblock has been addressed. So the first one, lack of understanding of the value of marketing automation, it has been addressed by explaining the way marketing automation works and giving examples of how it can be implemented, and giving examples of the goals and values that it can bring to each team. The next roadblock is number 2, conflicts regarding the choice of the software. We've addressed that by giving a list of all the systems and providing, a clear chart of which system has each feature and which doesn't, along with the price of it, so that we have a clear understanding of which system would be the best for the company, and we do that during the first meeting. The third thing is lack of cooperation from the technical team. This is why we've invited the representative of the IT team to the implementation team, and this is why we've discussed the way we're going to implement the tool on the website during the first meeting. The fourth is no knowledge about the way the system works, which we've addressed by allocating resources to learning and watching the tutorials and having a separate phase, the sort of beginning phase, when each manager and each team member learns how the system works. The fifth is no legal clearance, which we've clearly addressed by having the legal team prepare a list of guidelines and a proof of legal clearance with the local or global data protection laws. Then the sixth is no clear progress of the implementation. We've addressed that by creating a clear timeline of the implementation with all the tasks that need to be performed in order to move forward. The seventh is changing priorities and lack of time. We've addressed those with the timeline and by allocating resources sort of officially. The next one is budget limitations, which we've also addressed by agreeing along with the entire team and the CEO as to what kind of budget we can look forward to receiving